Hustle culture is arguably one of the worst things that most entrepreneurs could follow. Many people make the mistake of thinking that hustling is the key to success and fortune, so they choose to struggle. In fact, hustling has become so popular among young business owners that most of them gloat about how much they hustle. But are they getting the results they want with all that hustling? Probably not. Are we saying that you should start a business, establish goals, and then go to bed so that millions of dollars will just fall into your lap as you gently doze off? Obviously not. Working hard is essential, but that shouldn't mean that you overexert yourself just for the sake of the hustle, because that will stop you from growing. Hustling isn't the key because it'll actually keep you poor, and today we intend to tell you why. Let's dive right in. Ask yourself, are you working as hard as you possibly can right now? The answer must be a loud yes. But are you getting the results that you're after? Or more specifically, are you earning the amount of money you need? Probably not, right? So why aren't you? Isn't working hard the key to success? Well, it is, but you should also remember to work smarter, not harder. So how should you go about making the money you need? Let's say you earn $100,000 a year and are fighting to earn $1 million annually, or 10 times your salary. What should you do next? You ought to hustle 10 times harder, right? Most entrepreneurs make mistakes there. Do you genuinely believe that working harder and longer hours will have an impact? You should realize that you can't physically put in any more effort. You worked every spare minute you had, even on the weekends. Working an additional 2 or 4 hours per day won't help you get any richer if you're already working 12 hours per day. In this sense, working hard will just leave you worn out, drained, and poor. It's obvious that hustling isn't the way to become rich. Hustling is only a piece of the puzzle, and it can't guarantee your success and fortune. And to make matters worse, this could result in physical and mental illness, including burnout, depression, and anxiety. So, what's the solution? Instead of hustling, leverage is something that can make a person wealthy. Entrepreneurs usually hustle needlessly and engage in activities that aren't suited to them, instead of leveraging, which could help them get work done far more quickly, effectively, and inexpensively. They put their blood, sweat, and tears into doing their tasks. Rich entrepreneurs are skilled at making use of the talent, abilities, and intellect of others, including their own time, money, and resources. Instead of working tirelessly and using all of their own time and energy, they make use of other people's skills so they can use their own to fulfill their responsibilities as entrepreneurs. Leveraging is also the way to get results 10 times faster with 10 times the quality, which is important to thrash out your competition or at least keep up with them. Anything other than that, and you'll be out of business soon. Many business owners like Jeff Bezos himself tried to learn how to create their own website, logos, apps, and other things on their own in the beginning and hustled to no end from their garage. Sure, Bezos made a good chunk of money because he had a golden idea, but during that time he got worn out, discouraged, and restless. But it wasn't until he started outsourcing and hiring people that he became as rich as he is today. There are so many ways to leverage these days with platforms like Fiverr and Upwork. For a few $100s, you could hire a web developer who has experience, and the task will be finished in a short period of time. You're an entrepreneur, and hiring others to do the things you are bad at or don't know how to do isn't a weakness. As an entrepreneur, you should make use of the time, talent, abilities, and intellect of others in order to use your own time, energy, and creativity to far more important tasks. Use your time and energy to develop a company plan, even if it's not perfect, to come up with a better marketing plan, improve your communication abilities, find the right answer to a serious issue your customers are facing, increase sales, monitor your staff, etc. You have to define your vision and employ people that are qualified and talented to support you in carrying it out. From there, motivate the staff members you hired and give them a sense of belonging to the business so they can carry out your vision as if it were also their own. And finally, allocate the resources needed to support your team in achieving your goal. Don't try to do everything yourself because that'll just keep you where you are today as an entrepreneur. Make use of the talent, skills, and intellect of others instead so that you have the time and energy to think of ways to scale your business. There just isn't and never will be enough time to do everything on our to-do list alone. Rich and successful people don't strive to accomplish everything. Instead, they concentrate exclusively on a small number of highly effective jobs that will yield the greatest returns. They actually follow a way of life known as the 80-20 lifestyle. The Pareto principle, commonly known as the 80-20 rule, states that for many outcomes, about 80% of the outcomes come from only 20% of the causes. The 80-20 rule aims to prioritize the inputs that have the most potential to result in the most fruitful outputs. The 80-20 rule, in its simplest form, promotes concentrating on what's most important. And no, buying a new bright red Ferrari isn't what's most important, not at the beginning at least. Let's take an example where you're taking a test and discover that you don't have enough time to finish all the questions, but you always want to achieve a high grade. So, what should you do in this situation? Well, 80% of the total marks will be made up by the top 20% of the remaining questions, so you should aim for those. If you want to use this in your business, choose a few activities from your to-do list that might result in the most productive outcomes and focus your time and effort there rather than wasting hours on something that won't benefit you much. By doing this, you'll avoid feeling overworked all the time and feel as if you spent your time on things that will genuinely bring in the most money. Here's another bitter truth that most hustle culture activists and top Gs won't tell you. Except for a few exceptions, most of the hustlers who market the hustle culture aren't working super hard, and many of them never have. Hustle culture is filled with extremely privileged, wealthy people who don't resonate with their followers. People who don't have financial stability and are in need of money are the ones who are typically lured into the hustle culture, but once there, they discover that they are being offered overpriced training programs and resources they can't afford, in an effort to follow in the footsteps of others who got off to a much better start than they did. A lot of the people you see promoting the hustle culture had financial backing from their families, successful careers, high-paying positions, or supportive partners before they even began their hustle. Since many of them are independently wealthy or supported by someone else, they don't manage their side business with their full-time job. Some of them have startup capital that most people can only imagine, not because they raised it, but because they are the types of people that typically have a lot of extra cash in their bank accounts. In other words, there's a huge gap between those promoting hustle culture and those embracing it. Hustlers want you to think they work harder than you do, yet many of them became successful in part because they had the money to hire someone else to do all the labor-intensive tasks you perform on a daily basis. While claiming that their outcomes are out of the ordinary, they hint that their effort, rather than a privileged start, is to blame. Never follow the hype. Hustling is not the answer to financial stability. Building it is. Some dedicated hustlers really put in more effort yet produce less. Much less if you take into account that other aspects of their lives, including their health, friends, and family, are also negatively impacted. It takes more than hustling to be successful. That's a wrap for today. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more awesome content just like this.